Nadim and Patricia from Kerbobble Toys, thank you for coming on Brite Cast today. Tell me a little bit about yourselves and about the business, and we'll go from there.
Great. Well, again, thanks for having us, Mike. We really appreciate it. Excited to be here. So we started Kerbobble Toys in 2019, just from the idea that we all love collecting things. And when our boys were little, we used to go around to different types of stores and find knickknacks and all kinds of things from our youth or whatnot and things that they liked. And then when Toys R Us kind of closed, it was, the end of a generation in a sense that, I'd been going there since I was a baby, basically. And we wanted a place that anybody could go to of all ages, that, you walk in and you just feel good, feel happy. We want you to forget the worries of the world outside and come in and just, go down the path of nostalgia with us.
Yeah.
And it's been really great.
Be a kid again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
We
yeah.
want everybody to feel like a kid again in this chaotic, hectic world that, everybody needs a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
So that's
So
kind of,
did you have a big connection to toys too growing up? I mean, everybody did, but
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. Our toys, in the 80s were just so iconic, and
Yeah.
you really looked forward to seeing what was new and getting that new toy to play with and show your friends. And
yeah,
absolutely.
like some of these here that my
yeah.
brother, he actually dug them out of our old sandbox.
awesome, man.
Like,
so great.
nah, he went and found them. So they were,
really?
they were actually in there. So I don't know who this guy is. Do you know who he is?
Yes, he is one of Jabba Skiff's guards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so not a very popular figure, but
Well, that
but a
might
very
be why
cool
we
one
left him in the
nonetheless.
sandbox.
Actually, yeah, looking at that, it's pretty cool. I can't see from here without my glasses, but I think that's a big-headed Han Solo.
Yeah, Han Solo, and I think that I don't know if that's Indiana Jones or a
Looks
different
like
version of it.
And then that's Road
Yeah.
Pig laying down G.I. Joe, half his body.
We used to play with these all the time too, Civil War characters. Yeah, huge sets that we would have under our bed.
That's awesome.
So what's the name? Why is Kerbobble Toys? What does that mean? Where did that come from?
Yeah, well, I have to give Nadim credit for coming up with Kerbobble.
It was so.
Is it like a German word or
No,
something?
it literally, so Patty and I were sitting around one day, and she was talking about we need to come up with a name for the business, and she said something like, "I want something fun and silly, like Google or like Yahoo or something that doesn't necessarily, it's not a common word, doesn't mean anything. We can copyright it, and it's fun and memorable."
Right.
And Mike, I just blurted out Kerbobble. I mean, out of
Just a made-up word.
just out of the ether, man.
Okay, sweet. I love those
And
ones.
What I kind of attribute it to is that in The Simpsons, Bart Simpson's teacher is Edna Krabappel.
Okay.
Crabapple, they say Krabappel. And when I would like stub my toe or hit my finger or something, instead of a curse word, I would say Krabapple.
Okay.
And it just kind of was always in the back of my head. And so when she said we need a name, I just spit that out, and it was it was on the table for a while. We
Right.
came up with a lot of other names.
Yes,
Right.
we tried. And we can't even remember any of the other ones.
Yeah, I mean that's all
No.
my band. When you're making a band name or something, you have a list of like 100, and the one that sticks out, you don't remember the rest of them,
Right.
and for good reason. And no one else would remember them either if you
And that's
decided
the one,
to do that.
you see that and you're like, oh my gosh, that's perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
And we just felt like it fit. We asked everybody in our family, what did they think?
Right.
And it really kind of,
It's stuck. It's cute.
stuck.
It's
Thank
cute.
you.
Thank you.
So why Manassas is the question?
I will let Patricia answer
Oh,
that.
Right, yeah.
Well, yeah, so in 2019, I started planning the business plan, getting things ready. And when we were just starting to look for a location, we looked at a few different places, but we just kind of happened upon the building that we're in. And it was available. And at the time, I'm also an artist, so
Oh, cool.
I had submitted some art for the banner contest in Old Town where they put banners up on the light post. And it just happened that this building was in between two of my winning banners of my artwork. So here it was, and here it was, and there's this building. So
Little synchronicity.
synchronicity. So we took a look at it, and it's unique because it's not like a normal retail where it's one big open space. Yeah, it's a
You
series
have to like walk through
of
different
rooms.
areas.
Yeah. And I just had a vision that I could make this work. This could work. And so we applied for it, and the owner, she actually called me and she said, no, you guys have, no experience. It's an interesting concept, but I'm gonna have to say no because this is a brand new business.
Right.
So I went back and wrote her a letter that was very heartfelt, very passionate about why we wanted to start this business and why I felt that it was going to succeed, and all of the work I had done prepping for it. And she called me, and she was very moved by my letter.
Oh, nice.
And she
I have to get you to write my letters.
She proofreads all mine.
Yeah.
She was willing to take a chance, and
Awesome.
she actually did. So
You've been there for what, 5 years now?
5 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, she made the right choice.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I mean, it's a really cool spot too. I don't even remember what was there.
Real
before.
estate office. It was her
Yeah.
business before.
okay.
And the thing that we really liked about it is that, like she said, we looked at a couple other buildings in different locations or whatnot. And when we walked into this one, the fact that it had offices/rooms,
Right.
and it had windows looking in and out of these rooms, there was lots of light going everywhere. It was just one of those things where we both walked in and were like, oh my goodness, this is it. This
Right.
is
Yeah.
the
Instead of like a
spot.
GameStop sort of
Exactly.
location.
Exactly.
Exactly. We wanted a vibe. We wanted a
Yes,
setting.
very
and
comfortable.
A vibe, as the kids say.
I don't even know half the lingo these days.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
it's
one of
not
them.
mid.
Right.
It's
It'll
Yeah,
be-
it's a really cool store. So, did you get to choose who did the mural on it?
I am doing the mural.
Oh, nice. Do you know what you're gonna do?
The on the outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my daughter and I are working on it.
Nice.
And
Awesome.
we actually partnered with Teresa Coates Ellis.
Yeah.
She is in charge of the Bee Festival, and she got the designation of Bee City USA for Manassas.
Okay.
And that means we're a pollinator-friendly community. And my paintings have to do with bees and butterflies and
Oh, cool.
happy
Yeah.
things. And so we thought that was a good fit. And so that's the theme.
Very cool. When are you gonna be done?
Pollinators. We're trying.
Tough question for an artist. I understand.
No, yeah, we're almost there. Yeah, we're almost there. We're adding a lot of little things here and there, which people seem to really love. The little hidden
people will
hidden
pull
gems.
over and
Pe-
come into
yeah.
the store and say, "Who's doing this? This is incredible."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's really fun.
Yeah, so it should be done here pretty soon, and there will be a ribbon cutting ceremony.
Oh, sweet. I'll be there.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So for like, how has the Manassas community, supported you guys? And I think it's a great location just because First Fridays alone, you get so many
Yeah.
eyeballs on it, and it's right on
Yeah.
28, so you get a
Exactly.
lot of people. And there are no other competitors really, not in Manassas that I know of. So how has the support been?
Oh, it's great. The city, it's a wonderful choice for us because it's a very small town feel right in the middle of this, Northern Virginia, everything. So
Right.
it's really great. And the other businesses are very supportive. We work together to do fun stuff to drive business to each other. And, you can always go talk to the city manager.
Right. A couple blocks down.
Police, City of Manassas Police
Yeah.
are so supportive, the council members. So it's very accessible as far as that go. If you have any issues or you need support, it's really a great place to be.
That's
So-
cool.
Yeah.
So how do you choose, getting on to the fun stuff, how do you choose the toys that you're going to sell, or how do you find the best sellers and that sort of stuff?
Well, we definitely order some things from national distributors, things that people have, we listen a lot to our customers
Yeah.
about things, what we should bring into the store, what they're looking for. And so we do reach out to national distributors. But ever since COVID, a lot of the distributors' prices have gone up extremely high to the point where small businesses like us really can't afford the
Right. There's no margin on it.
there's no
for it.
margin.
Yeah.
And so we really kind of rely on local collectors and people trading in and selling their toys to us.
Okay.
I would say the first 2 years was kind of on the slower side where we were still, I was still going out to yard sales and thrift stores and all kinds of trade meets and stuff and buying things. And And now it's to a point where we actually have a calendar at the store full of appointments of people that want to come
that's
in
awesome.
and bring us stuff. So
Yeah.
it's made our lives a little bit easier in that regard.
Right.
But we never know what's going to come through the door, Mike.
Right.
It's awesome. That's one thing that, there's hardly any surprises left in this world. And when somebody walks through the door with a box of your childhood and says, "Hey, check this out,"
Right.
it's just, it's inexplicable. It's just such a great feeling.
Yeah.
And
And they bring back flashbacks from like, oh, you got strawberry shortcake or whatever. Yeah, that sort of
Absolutely.
stuff.
that's one of my
Yes.
favorite
I
things.
did play with strawberry shortcake. Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Good.
It was a cool toy line,
Yeah.
They still have their smell, by the way.
Really?
Those small ones, they
Wow.
still have the scent.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah.
So so a lot of people do the trade-ins and stuff. Is it like a pawn shop sort of a little bit?
We
Or-
buy. We buy.
You buy from-
We don't do
Do.
consignment.
Right. It's kind of like say a used bookstore.
Okay. Yeah.
So you get cash or store credit.
Right.
Okay.
So a little more store credit than the cash option. And people love that because you can, also for kids can
It's great for kids.
clean their room out and you bring the old stuff
yeah,
and you
get
can
some
get
new stuff.
something new.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I
it's
didn't think that.
it's a
It also
trade.
teaches them the value of, pricing thing. How much does something cost? And
Right.
okay, well, you want this toy. Well, you got to go and take 5 or 6 of your old toys, put them in a box, bring them to Kerbobble.
Yeah.
We'll work out a deal. And kids love it and parents love it because it teaches them some sort of ethic of, buying and the value of money.
So like a little bit of a finance class that you're offering
Sure.
too.
Want to look at it like that?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So what are like the best sellers right now? Like what's the hot thing that people are coming in for?
Well, our customers just love the nostalgia. So
Okay.
I would say 80s toys
Right.
Yeah.
and video games. We've added. We didn't start with video games, but that's a popular thing. The old consoles. Nadim could talk more about that. But definitely the vintage toys are a huge hit and don't stay in stock very long. Like I didn't
Yeah.
bring you My Little Ponies because I don't even have any in stock right now.
Oh,
But
wow.
Yeah, so definitely 80s, some 70s toys, but
90s, lots of 90s
definitely
stuff,
90s nostalgia. So yeah, I'd say the vintage stuff is most popular.
Well, it's just so hard to find too.
Yeah.
And if you're like one of the only curators in the area, then you got to go to you guys.
Right, and that's
Right.
we would go to these stores. There's stores all over the country like us.
Yeah.
Not exactly
Not
like us,
exactly.
but
We are unique.
sell retro and vintage collectibles and toys or whatnot. And that was one thing that when we were opening, we said we want to make ours have a very specific, again, vibe. And so the one thing that I think is a huge part of our success was that we had a woman's touch to the business because all the other stores that we've been to around the place, the country up and down the Eastern Seaboard. whatever,
Nerdy dudes.
yeah, it's all like dudes' basements and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's fine. I like that.
Right.
I'll go in there and search for hours for GI Joes or whatnot.
But a mom's not taking her
Right.
kids there.
Exactly.
Probably.
And I wanted anybody from any age group to be able to walk in there and just go, wow, this
Yeah.
is awesome. And they do. And
Right.
people do. And it's great. I love it.
So what were your favorite toys as kids? Maybe you show your power glove, maybe? Show that off real quick.
So this was
Oh, yeah.
this was one of my, I don't know if it's in.
No, you're in,
frame
yeah,
or everything.
yeah.
This was something that when it came out, it was like only the rich kids kind of had
Yeah.
it, and everybody knew somebody that had one. It never really worked well, but dude, it was cool, man.
So what kind of games would you play with that?
There was one called, it was like Powerball or something, and it never really worked well. You could also do driving. I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Wizard, and it had Fred
Yeah.
Savage in it, and
Yeah.
that was like one of the main, unveilings of the Power Glove, and the way they portrayed it in the movie obviously was, not exactly how it worked.
Right.
But again, it was just having
Just
this
cool.
technology
Yeah.
and hardware was, you were the cool kid, So
There's not really been anything like that since, other than like VR
I mean,
stuff.
Wii, yeah, you have Wii and, motion control and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But actually wearing something that looks like it's from the future and, it's just super, super cool.
That come out in the 80s?
Yeah,
Early 80s, mid-80s?
later 80s, 80s, I want to say 87, 88, somewhere around there, maybe even 89. I can't even remember. But yeah, that's one of my that's one of the things I came into the store where I said, oh my goodness, I've wanted this for 30
Give it to me now.
I said, this is not going anywhere but in my collection.
So is that for NES?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Yeah, it has the old adapter to it, and it comes with other parts to it where you have to set up, and it's just the technology is amazing because it's Stone Age considered.
Yeah,
compared to what we have
essentially.
now. But yeah, that was one thing that came into the store I got really giddy about. The other one was the USS flagged aircraft carrier for G.I. Joe.
Okay.
I always wanted that.
How big is that?
It's a 7 foot by like
snap.
3 foot toy. It's one of the biggest toys ever produced. And a guy came in and we bought it. And I called my wife. I was like, oh my goodness, it's here. It's here. I
start
have
crying
it.
a little
I'm
bit.
shaking, yeah, tear in the eye. And
In good condition still?
incredible.
Oh,
and
nice.
finding those things in good condition and somewhat complete is like,
Right.
it's like, it's virtually impossible. So this was quite the,
Yeah.
I was shaking. I was so excited. So yeah, for me, for toys, Star Wars changed my life.
Right.
And so I was obsessed with Star Wars, still am. And I remember, walking down to the corner drugstore and buying Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, in 1980 and stuff like that. And then G.I. Joe, mainly because of the articulation of the figures and the creativity of all the different characters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
What is that? Sergeant Slaughter, is that what it is? No, that's what's his name?
That's
The
William,
Fridge.
William the Fridge
The
Perry.
Fridge, yeah. I have Sergeant Slaughter somewhere.
Yeah.
He was not in this, but I think my brother might have him
Yeah.
at his house still.
Actually, I saw him at the airport one time when I was
yeah?
flying somewhere. I saw him walking past me, and I go, "Oh my God, that's Sergeant Slaughter!" And I was like,
I thought you
I'm
meant my
gonna-
brother.
Whoa, dude! But yeah, no, William the Fridge Perry is a very rare figure to have because he was a mail away, and you don't see him very often. That's why when I saw him, I was like, "Oh, wow!"
My wife helped me decorate all this stuff, so
Love it.
she made sure
Great
to
job.
add a little bit of toys and stuff in there.
Yeah.
So what about you growing up? What was your favorite?
Yeah, so lots of My Little Pony and
Mm-hmm.
Barbies, and I actually really loved playing with Hot Wheels, and I had my my brother's hand-me-down Hot Wheels,
Nice.
which I wish I still had, but my mom did save a lot of my toys, so I still have some My Little Ponies
Mm-hmm.
and Cabbage Patch Kids, and
Is it hard for when someone comes in to sell something, whether you're like, I'm going to keep this, I'm going to start hoarding?
it can get out of hand because there's 5 of us between the kids and us,
Yeah.
and everybody has their own thing that they collect. So yeah, our house is a little crowded.
Are they big on toys and stuff too still? What are the ages?
Yeah, so Cassidy is our oldest, and she works at the store. Actually,
cool.
She's been a
Very cool.
huge part of the business, and Emmett is now
15. He'll be
Yeah.
16 in January.
and Griffin is about to turn 13.
Okay.
Griffin's probably the biggest collector, and he still collects. He has a really nice collection of G.I. Joe, and just a huge variety.
Yeah.
He kind of gets into things, but he sets them up very nice, and
His room is
it's very
very interesting. It's very set up, almost like a display, like a store display. It's
Okay.
really cool.
I was kind of like that.
Yeah.
I collected, when I was little, I collected, stuffed animals and stuff from Disney World. And then, of course, G.I. Joe. And I forgot about Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those are
Hot Wheels
so many,
balls.
I
remember when Micro Machines came out. I was like, little
Oh,
Hot Wheels.
yeah.
I was like, these are even cooler.
Yeah, they're so small and the guy talks so fast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's super fast commercial.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, Historic Downtown has been good. So do you have events or do you partner with people specifically just to bring them in for that? I know you do the Super Bowl, which is one thing.
Oh,
but
yeah,
that's
that's
a
fun.
whole thing.
Right.
That's a
It's
whole thing.
Great event.
It's really
Great
fun.
event.
Yeah, and then we do some events. We just did Anything's Possible, which is a great charity that raises money to get service dogs for kids.
Okay.
And so that was an event. And we have the Pride event from Equality Prince William coming up in this month. And the Railway Festival will be part of that. And yeah, of course, the first Fridays.
Yeah.
And the Bee Festival coming up in June. So
So what do they bring bees in? How do you do a bee festival?
the Bee Festival, they do have bees at the location that I can't think of right now, where the Bee Festival is held.
Oh, okay.
But no, they don't bring bees into the store.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get your complimentary bee
yeah, right.
suit.
Yeah. So, like, what percentage of your business is e-commerce versus in store?
Oh,
If you just a rough
estimate.
not down to the exact.
I don't.
decimal
It's
point.
pretty small, maybe
Pretty
10.
small, but it's getting better. So like
We're
that's a key
working on
point,
it.
I think, is that with the World Wide Web and all the available things you have out there,
Yeah.
the fact that we're putting a little bit of a footprint is pretty
Mm-hmm.
awesome to see. And yeah, our online sales are definitely picking up.
Yeah.
We do online events all the time, like free shipping or buy
Yeah.
one get 150% off, stuff like that,
Right.
or discounts, and that helps. And we also have an eBay store because when you have a brick and mortar store, you need multiple lines of income.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
To keep going, and so the eBay's been pretty good too. It's a love-hate relationship with eBay,
Right.
but
Yeah.
but that's the biggest place on the internet people go to look for, especially for retro, collectible, and vintage stuff.
Right.
So that's been helpful for us as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you use like social media? Do you guys like go live when you have new stuff come in, or like make posts of all the different like? I mean, it's a way to get known, and then direct
Yeah.
them to your eBay or to whatever your regular
Yeah,
website.
So
we're boomers, man.
Cassidy.
Okay.
A lot of
Well,
stuff-
she could do it.
Yeah, she
incredible.
does. She
Yeah.
does. She's
Incredible
great
with
at Instagram and we do Instagram, Facebook, and we're really trying to step up our YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
we're
do
working
have
on-
that because we get so many cool things, and we know it would be great to show people.
Right. Like unboxings
Yes.
of retro
Unboxing,
stuff.
Yeah. of
Like, for
cool,
example, the other day, somebody brought in a box, and I was doing the estimate, and I was going through it, and one of our good regulars, a buddy of ours, Roger, was there, and I'm going through pulling things out, and he's going, "Oh my goodness! Oh my god!"
So excited.
Both of us are like giddy over these toys, And I said, "Man, we got to film this so that people can, enjoy this with us.
Right,
because
right.
This is so awesome. How many people get to open these boxes of toys from the '80s and the '90s and go,
Maybe
oh,
Christmas Day back in '82
exactly,
or something
right,
like that.
Right. So that's we're definitely working on our.
So what's the plan? Like, how are you gonna film it? Is it gonna be long form stuff like this? I'm doing this long form, and then it gives me like 15 or 20 clips that I could post, for that week or two.
Right. So we actually are working on setting up in our old office in their store, turn it into somewhat like a like
Okay.
a
If you
little
need tips,
studio.
let me know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to have an area that is just pretty much constantly set up and ready to go, so that if we do get something just in the moment, we
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
Well, you're excited. It comes
my
across on the
gosh,
camera too.
exactly.
Right.
Your enthusiasm for it.
Yeah, so we're working on that, and again, a lot of this, even though being in the music industry, podcast stuff is obviously different. So
Yeah.
I'd have to look
It's
into.
not.
a
It's
lot
not
of
that
them.
different.
No, okay,
No.
cool. Then
These mics are actually way cheaper now. than they
really,
used to be.
I remember how
Really?
much these used to be.
Yeah. Well, TikTok, $80.
Come on.
What?
Yeah, TikTok Shop has a lot of cheap things for sure. I mean, going live though, like that's how a lot of people get followers. So I don't know if she does TikTok, but she could at least go live on Instagram, and just like start showing off stuff,
Okay.
whatever cool toys that they have, and you get followers that way. I don't.
Right.
I'm guilty of not doing it as much, but. Especially something for like you guys that's such a visual thing, and people like come across and they see Sergeant Slaughter, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh snap!" and then they'll give a follow, So maybe on Saturdays or whatever, one day a
Right.
week, do that. Just,
Okay.
just a way to get some followers.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
We have not done live yet.
Yeah.
So
we're always looking for different angles.
And you don't have to show your face; you're showing the toy.
That's true.
For those ones, right? You're just kind of going through the store, or showing the cool toys that you
yeah.
have, answering questions if people have them.
Yeah.
I think it works. I mean, I follow people like that all the time. I have
Okay.
like 10 power washers that I follow.
Right?
It's so I don't know why
So-
it's so soothing. Like
so
when they're
absolutely.
like cleaning stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
satisfying.
So like for nostalgic items, is there anything in particular, like one specific thing that is like your favorite old school?
Have anything?
your favorite?
I mean, for me,
I have a lot of favorites.
yeah, I have a lot of favorites. I would say one thing for me that, again, kind of left a ginormous footprint in my life was Nintendo.
Okay, yeah, let's get into
Nintendo
that.
came out.
Yeah.
And because before that, we spent all our time in arcades. And
Yeah.
I miss 80s arcades, man.
And my parents were broke, so
man.
I'd get like 3 games and have to go home.
Yeah.
The smells and the lights and the sounds and everything. It's just, you had to be there.
Yeah.
So when Nintendo came out, and because all I had before that was Atari, and the graphics for that were literally squares and circles on the screen.
Right.
So the Nintendo Entertainment System really kind of changed the game,
Yeah.
and brought the video game system back into people's households, because Atari tanked the gaming, the gaming world, and so to me, Nintendo. I have so many fond memories of sitting around with my friends, staying up all night trying to beat, Zelda or Contra.
And then
and still the most famous cheat
and you
code
can't
of
save
all time,
anything. Yeah,
right?
still still is.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it is?
Up, down, up, down, down, left, right, A, B, select, start.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about getting that tattooed.
That would be cool. Where would you put it?
Probably like, I don't know.
Oh,
here
yeah.
Or something.
Yeah,
I'm not
that'd be
sure.
good. Yeah, is that like one of your favorite games?
Contra was one of the games that I remember. First of all, it's the first time I ever knew what a cheat code was.
Right.
And it was my friend's older brother that had to tell us. Like, we had no idea, because you had like 3 lives when you started or something, and that game was like impossibly
impossible.
hard. Yeah. So, and then just playing with my best friend when we were young.
Yeah.
Hours and hours, of just trying to beat the game, and there was no save points,
Right.
And so
Or any of that stuff, like Double Dragon or anything.
So Double Dragon was the game that might have actually got me obsessed with video games. When I saw Double Dragon, I think I was in like a laundromat or something when I was like 7 or 8, and that was it. So today, actually, I brought
Oh yeah.
one of my favorite Nintendo games of all time. Let's take this off. Was Double Dragon 2.
Double Dragon 2. Oh yeah.
Revenge.
Oh yeah.
And I just, man.
Does it still work?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I have a full copy at home with the box and everything, and this one is available for sale at Kerbobble. But yeah, the Nintendo to me, besides Star Wars figures and G.I. Joe, was like, I still get giddy when people bring in Nintendo games and systems, and I just. Yeah, I love it.
We played the Bible game.
Oh yeah,
they were like, if you're gonna be so obsessed with video games, then you're gonna like learn something about the Bible, and it was actually kind of hard. Yeah. It was pretty hard, like the Bible is,
Yeah. I think that game is pretty expensive now.
Oh yeah, maybe we got it somewhere. I don't know. So what about? Did you play video games at all as a kid?
So I still have my Atari 2600.
Oh wow.
Which was a hand-me-down also from my brother. And I played that a lot when I was really young. And then I did get a Nintendo system, which, we played a lot. That was a lot of fun. We had the running mat.
Yeah, for track and
Oh, yeah.
And Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, lots of memories with that.
The more interactive games.
More interactive. Beyond that, I'm not a gamer.
My brother used to just beat the crap out of me on everything once, like, Super Nintendo, and definitely once PlayStation came out.
Right.
He just was, like, I play guitar, but he was like, like a whiz on, he would just beat me. So I was like, I'm going to figure something else out to do.
Right.
I'm going to go play basketball or something, or learn guitar.
Right. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Do your kids play anything?
Game wise?
Well, or music.
Yeah, both actually.
Yeah.
Both our kids are pretty big gamers. Actually, Griffin's
Griffin's
so much.
not.
He plays Roblox with his friends.
Yeah.
Pretty typical, right? Our son Emmett is a pretty big gamer, and he's really good at almost everything he plays.
Nice.
But he's been gaming since he was like, when did I start letting him play Xbox with me? Like 4 years old or something.
Oh yeah, well that's
Minecraft. Minecraft was one of the first.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
It's great for young kids because it's really interactive and creative. But yeah, and then Emmett, our 15-year-old, followed my footsteps of music.
Okay, nice.
He's turned up the metal level to 11.
Yes.
So he's very proud of him.
Is he playing guitar?
Yeah, he's great.
Nice.
Great. Which is funny, Mike, because being a guitar player, I had like 6 to 8 guitars that I had saved.
Yeah.
And I was like, if any of my kids are going to play, guitar, I'll
Right.
have all these guitars for them. And he's born, and time goes by, and he starts being, showing interest in playing guitar and this and that, and he's left-handed. And I'm like,
no.
So luckily, I have 2 SGs that I used to play, and
Yeah.
they're very symmetrical. So I turned it upside down, restrung it for him, and then. But since then, we bought him 2 left-handed guitars.
Yeah.
His ear is incredible.
Really?
He can sit there and just listen a couple times, and then just
How long has he been playing?
like 3 years, maybe. Has it been that
Nice.
long?
At least.
At least.
Well, at that age, you have time.
Dude,
like I would when I didn't start learning till I was 18, but I had just Nova to do, and then I would play for 3 or 4 hours.
Really, I thought you were playing a lot longer than that.
No, I
Right?
just
You put a lot of time into it.
Yeah, a lot of time. I mean, we would just go over. This is how nerdy we were. We would go over and play chess, and whoever wasn't playing chess would take the guitar, like whoever, and just like play for people and like write stuff or whatever. So you get fast quick when you're playing that many hours a day.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I can't even find 10 minutes to do it. I tried to learn one of my songs I wrote like 2 years ago. We're getting finally ready to release it. It took me 30 minutes to figure out what I played. Like, what tuning is this? What am I doing?
Right?
I mean, you can lose your ear pretty quick, but it comes back also.
Yeah, it's not like riding a bike in a
Yeah.
sense,
Yeah.
but I mean, the skill that I had 20 years ago is completely different than what I
Right.
can do today. But, Emmett is just, he's taken the throne, man, and
That's
just
awesome.
gone full.
Like
bore.
heavy?
Yeah.
Nice.
Heavy, like stuff I'd never listened to. And so he and I go to a lot of shows.
Sweet.
Because live music, I know what it's like to go see live music. It
Yeah.
was my passion for so long. And so we go see, I take him to as many shows as we can basically, afford to go to,
Yeah.
as well as have the time for.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've seen some incredible shows recently, and he's introduced me to a lot of bands that I start listening to a lot and I love now.
Yeah.
I never listened to, and a lot of it's old stuff, like a lot of
really?
it's old metal stuff, a lot of death metal.
Yeah.
But bands that I never really listened to very much, and I was like, wow, I never really gave these guys a chance back in the day, and I love this. This is great. And then also, this going to see a band live is just so different than listening to the CD or a record or whatever. And that's really turned me on to a lot of bands that we've seen. I'm like, these guys are incredible.
Right.
We just went and saw Napalm Death the other night.
Okay, nice.
Barney, the singer's got to be 57, 58 years old.
Still got it?
Dude, he had more energy than a 8-year-old kid. He was incredible, and it was awesome. It was so cool to see. And just to see that, he's been doing this since the late 80s, and he's still completely in love with it.
Yeah,
and
that's gotta be
energetic
great.
every time he goes on stage. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I had a really good time.
So, are you a music head too? I mean, did you meet when he was still in bands?
In Rev 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before Rev, you were in Rev 9.
Yeah, actually, it was
you were in
before I
Rev 9.
joined Rev
Yeah.
9.
But I am not musical at all.
She's an
I'm
artist.
artistic.
She's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
wonderful artist.
Yeah.
The painting side of it.
The painting and artistic. And
Drawing and
Griffin, our youngest, takes after me in that way.
Absolutely.
He's very creative and it's he even takes toys and turns them into other things, and it's really incredible.
I keep telling him he needs to start like an Instagram or a YouTube because
Yeah.
he's so creative, and
Yeah.
what he makes is just. I said thousands of people would watch this because it's incredible.
Right. Just
He's a
the
true
process,
artist.
essentially.
The process
the
and
process of it.
from what he starts with to what it comes out is incredible. It's very creative. So.
Yeah,
Just like taking things apart and making
So
them into other things, or
he's. I'll let you. You tell him about. He does a lot of.
Well, he loves clowns.
oh,
Right now,
there's
he's
one
very
thing
into
in
clowns.
life that I just
Nadim's
don't really
not
like.
a fan.
I think there's a lot of people that share that.
And he loves Halloween, so he's really into that. But he just recently took some old action figures. What were they?
Yeah, they were
Like-
old military figures that no articulation. Like I don't even know what they were called.
know.
S1 Army guys or whatever.
But
Like GI Joe size.
Yeah.
completely customized it into creepy clowns, which
They're
you
incredible.
like
Oh,
people would
okay.
buy.
They
It-
would buy.
professional looking.
Yeah. So he
And
just
it's
he
he
paints
just
them
loves
and
that.
like puts
Yeah,
costumes
adds,
on them and stuff, or
Well, add some
Millie Putt.
milliput to it, so
Like
like
very
it hardens.
craft. Yeah.
almost
So
like a plastic.
very creative.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
He makes masks. He makes,
Mass props, anything.
he'll sit there in his little art area for hours working on stuff while
That's cool.
Emmett's downstairs thrashing out on,
That's a very eclectic house. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Very
Yeah.
creative.
a lot of
house.
creativity going on
Yeah.
in our house. Yeah.
Do you still write anything at all? Or play? I know it's tough being a father
Yeah.
and having a business and stuff.
Right.
Not really. I
Yeah.
do miss it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Every day, honestly, I think about it, and no, I live vicariously through Emmett. Kind
Yeah.
of, I can't wait for. He already has a band and
Oh,
everything,
nice.
So I can't wait for him to actually start doing gigs, and
Yeah.
I'll be that dad, with
Help-
the
help
band
set up
shirt on
everything
and
and-
setting it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they're great, and he's found his group of friends,
Yeah.
which took a little while. But once he found his group of friends, they're just all the tightest. They're great. So.
So talk about your painting stuff. What other stuff do you do? Just is it mainly bees and butterflies and stuff like that? How did you get into it?
Yeah, I've always been into art
Mm-hmm.
and drawing and painting, but for a little while I wanted to be an illustrator. Well, for years and years I was a graphic designer, so
Okay.
that was my profession
Okay.
for 20 plus years. And then I went freelance, and then we had the boys, and then I was home, and so I started painting more, and yeah, so I've always dabbled in it, but finding the time now is hard.
Yeah. Well, at least you had the project to work
So,
on.
yeah,
That gives you, quite a while. But still, like once it's finished, then it's going to be,
Right.
something to be celebrated.
Absolutely,
For sure.
yeah, and it's great to know you still have it in you, 'cause
Yeah, still got it.
Since we opened the business, I haven't had time to do much as far as art, and
Right.
I just
And that's the thing. Like, so I was working for a W-2 before I started More Brite. And I lost my job during COVID, but that job I was realistically only working like 4 hours a day. But, it's just because I was good at what I did and they didn't have any more work to give me. So when you start your own thing, it's like, well, you're working 24/7 now. So to find time to be creative is like, it's very tough. But I just went through, I have all these old, pretty much completed songs, like 6 or 7 of them. I just don't have the words to it. So I'm just going to, at this point, just do whatever and just throw it on there and not overthink it, and just
Right,
to
man.
be able to release something. And Trent's going to rap on a couple
Oh
of them.
man, good old Trent.
Trent was the drummer for our old
Yeah.
band.
okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw us when we played with Rev 9. We opened at 930 Club for you guys, and then
I
at
don't
State
think we ever
State-
played 9:30.
You sure?
Yeah, we didn't.
Yes, you
Oh, we
did.
must have got that.
No, we never.
Maybe
played
State
9:30.
Theater it was.
State Theater. We
Oh,
played.
9:30. No,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
I
never
was
played
thinking
State.
of.
That was thing I was chasing for a while. They called us once.
Yeah.
And wanted to book a show, and I was so excited, but it never came to fruition, unfortunately.
It's cool.
Yeah.
State Theaters are great. Is great too.
That was fun, too.
It's easier to
That
get
was
people
fun,
out there
yeah.
for
Except
us.
for that wall, the sound kind of bounces back at you.
Yeah. So you have it
like
in ears.
Like a half a second off. Yeah, exactly.
was
Yeah,
thinking of
I mean,
jazz.
I'm thankful. I don't think we would have been able to do a lot of the stuff without you guys and Todd helping us do bookings and stuff. I think that's how we got 930 because he knew the speaks. Now that I remember, and
that's
they
right.
got us.
man.
They're like, obviously we had to sell
were
500
great.
tickets, but
Yeah.
we did it. So we still got to play at this place that we always was iconic for you growing up. Like that's where you go see all your bands. You're like to be on that stage is really cool.
It's
Yeah.
definitely legendary.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I always kind of wish that happened that never did.
Well, just get your son to
Yeah,
get big around here, and they can play there.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
You never know.
Union Stage is actually a really cool place now.
I've been there,
too.
yeah.
It's it's a smaller room for 800 people, whatever, but it's standing room only,
Love it.
sort of like Black Cat was.
Yeah.
Very similar to
Yeah.
that.
Saw some good shows there.
There's some very good shows.
Yeah.
So, is there have you ever thought about creating your own toys or creating your own lines of stuff?
Not me personally, no, not really. I'm not creative in that kind of regard. Where she
You just
kinda
sell
would
your
be
son
more.
stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
yeah,
actually,
absolutely.
he's come up with packaging and everything.
Oh, nice.
It's incredible.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
very creative.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if I had the time, I would love to do that, but so far, no.
Finding the time, maybe when the kids
Yeah.
are in college and
Yeah,
stuff,
there you
and
Yeah. I do love. I sometimes toys come in and they have an artistic side to them. Some toys are so artistic and creative, and that's what I love about some of the unique things that come in. So I think, if I sat down and thought of some innovative toys, I would love to do that. But
So when you were making the business plan, did you have help with that, or were you just kind of like doing it over time? And because did you jump from doing the graphic design stuff to that, or were you still doing like managing at bars and stuff?
Yeah, I was still working in the restaurant industry,
Okay.
and she had started. She did a lot of prep work, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to.
Right.
But she did a lot of work.
so, yeah, I did take some classes at the Women's Business Center
Okay.
in Springfield. So I took some classes on that and writing the business plan and just learning about small business and all of those things. And
Did you have anything entrepreneurial before that, or just when you were freelance for graphic design?
I did have my own, graphic design business and art, and I've dabbled in, I think I've always had that entrepreneur spirit.
Yeah.
Because it was always hard for me just to work in an office. I used to work in, government contracting.
This is my job right now, so.
And so, that free spirit, it was always difficult to sit down and really focus and not
Yeah.
do something that you're passionate about or believe in. So
Right.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs feel that, and we constantly come up with ideas like, oh, I could do this. And to a fault, like I'm still coming up with new ideas. I'm like, nope, you gotta focus.
Stick on this so you can sell the business. And yeah.
So yeah, it's a lifelong journey to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been doing this, like I said, for 5 years full time. Learn something new every day, literally. Stressful, but rewarding. Working for that W-2 stuff, it was rewarding because I had the 3 hours a day to work on music. And that, kept me going. But this is like building your own business from nothing. Like, I got they gave me 6 months severance
Nice.
from that job, and I was like, it's now or never.
Yeah. that's
Otherwise
nice.
I'm gonna have to start commuting again, and I don't want to do that.
I did that for a long time. That'll break you down, man.
Yeah.
Rip your soul out.
Right.
Yeah. So you just full time this for now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah, we after the restaurant industry, the store started getting a lot busier,
Yeah.
and to the point where I kind of jumped in, with Patricia and Cassidy, because they were basically running the store.
Yeah.
And with that, I brought my kind of side of knowledge of collectibles and toys, and
Yeah.
and one of the things that people asked us for a long time was video game stuff, mostly retro games. For some reason, retro gaming is very popular again. Especially with the young generation. I
Really?
have young teenagers come in that buy old Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy stuff, and it's really cool.
So a lot easier to play with just your thumbs.
Yeah, but some of those games are really hard.
Yeah. Some of them. Yeah. Like Double Dragon.
Oh my goodness, man. Yeah.
And the fact that you can't save it, it's like you have to really be in the moment.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was something that we do. Now I also have another business that I run called Side Quest Painting, where I paint interior and exteriors of houses and power wash and stuff like that. I've always loved painting. People think I'm insane, but the process is very therapeutic to me. And then the final product of a room being transformed just makes me feel good. And then when the person comes in and goes, oh, wow, this looks great. Yeah,
Right. It totally refreshes a house. I mean, I'm going to have to repaint this once we move, whenever that is. So you can help me then.
There you go. You got it. Absolutely.
Okay, that's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So for that, is it just like a word of mouth for that business?
Yeah, so I do a little advertising, not so much. It's kind of, a lot of word of mouth. I have some people that help, every now and then they'll have a job and say, oh, I'm doing some repair on this guy's house and he wants his basement painted. So, I'll go and do that or whatnot. But it's something I love to do. So,
Right.
I'm not commuting the hours that I was before. And I get to spend all my time playing with toys and hanging out with my wife and my
that's
family.
living the dream.
Dude, it's the best, man. So, and then when I do get a painting job or something, it's great. I like it, and it's a lot of fun. So
So how many people work at Kerbobble? right now?
So full time, it's really just Nadim and I,
wow.
and Cassidy's full time. So she's been really instrumental in making it work.
Yeah,
She's great.
that's
And then we
awesome.
have a part time Deanna who also works on weekends.
Deanna's great. She's there on the
She's
weekends.
been
Yeah,
with
she's
us
been
for-
she's
Are
been
the
awesome.
are the weekends pretty busy?
They can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, it's different for sure. You know, like there's not a lot of other. I mean, Black Metal Mercantile is cool.
Great
I
shop.
love
man.
Darren.
My
Darren was on a
favorite
few
store
weeks
down
ago.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
And but it's not even a competitor.
No.
It's totally different,
No,
which is
but
cool.
it's
cool too.
that's the thing I love that's happening. Are these amazing, unique stores are starting to show up in Old Town.
Yeah.
And Black Metal is just one of the first ones that I just went, this is awesome, man.
Yeah.
And I know Darren, we've known him for a while, and he's just such a good dude, and we wish
Yeah.
him the best, man. But if you haven't been to Black Metal Mercantile,
Yeah, do it.
do yourself a
Do it,
favor and
yes.
go.
Yeah, it's very fun. He's
is
putting up
awesome.
like I'm trying to get him to do. I can't remember the name of that YouTube channel, but they're like in a record store and they play like acoustic songs where they like have artists in and playing. Like that would be the perfect spot for him to do something like that. Like
Yeah.
an easy
Yes.
YouTube.
Kind of like NPR Tiny Desk thing.
Yeah, Tiny Desk.
Tiny
Yeah.
Desk, yeah.
Like it's really just easy, something to do, but the location is awesome in that
is.
back room
The
now.
back room's so
And
cool.
you could have like local artists come in, easy content for your YouTube, get them a little bit of press, and it's good for the business too. Because they'll bring, 15 or 20 friends to watch them play the show.
There used to be a record tape store in Annandale,
Yeah.
and they used to do that. They would have, it was called Strange Land. I don't know if you ever went there. Awesome spot, man. And they used to have bands play, and we would support the store by buying stuff when we were there
Right.
and things. But I mean, I saw some incredible bands play at that place, and that was just
Those are some of the best shows, the
were
real tiny ones.
I'll tell you, man.
Yeah.
The best shows I've ever played were basement shows or
Yeah.
really small rooms because the energy, man, it's just great.
Right. We played at Denny's one time. But it was packed. People were having a good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the basement shows are great. There was a place out in like Aldi area that he had a trailer, and like a 40-foot trailer, and just packed everyone into it, sweating like crazy.
Yes,
like
man.
that's when we were just a 3-piece back then. But those are like the
Yeah.
best memories. Playing 9:30, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
But the energy is so different when people are like right there and they're falling over your microphone and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I tell people the story all the time of, we were lucky enough to play Warped Tour, and then, we were playing in front of hundreds, if not, thousands of people. That was great. That was
Yeah.
awesome. I was really
I mean, that's
happy
what
I
you
got to
think you
experience
dream
that.
of.
Right. But one of my favorite shows was at this dude's house in Annandale. I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was a bunch of the local bands there. We went on last, I don't know, whatever reason why, and it was, I'll never forget that moment. Like,
Yeah.
just everybody came in, everybody was hanging out, everybody was having a good time. We played, place went nuts, and it was just
Nobody can
you're
hear the
right
next
there.
day.
Yeah, right, yeah. But you're right there. They're
Yeah.
right there, and the energy they're just spitting back out at you. Another one was in New Bern, North Carolina, at a place called the Salty Dog.
Oh yeah, we played there with you
Did
before.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You guys went on. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time we played there, though, I'm like, we walked in
It's
there,
a
we're
dive
like,
bar.
what is this? Yeah,
Yeah.
like great. And then when the show was about to start, man, those kids showed up, and the
Like out of
energy
nowhere.
just out of nowhere. And they packed it, and they were so into it, and and it was just, again, it was like one of our favorite places to go back and play because it was just the vibe and everything was so awesome.
Well, the people they don't get much music,
Right.
So when they do, it's like, hey, we're going to a show tonight.
Right? Yeah, something to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In a small town like that.
Yeah, exactly. So do you have like any crazy stories from Kerbobble? Any interesting customers or anything like that?
Oh, we have lots of interesting customers.
I'm sure very many that we could talk
It's kind
about
of
on
built
your
for
podcast.
interesting customers, I
Really
imagine.
is.
We love our
We do.
customers.
We have the best people coming to our store.
Yes, they keep it fun.
We made a
Right.
lot of friends.
We have made a lot of friends.
That's cool.
Yes.
And it's
Crazy stories. We so pretty early on, we have these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that you might have seen outside the store.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
put them outside sometimes to just for attention. And I had Mike Longhelt out there. I was working, and a man went by on his bicycle, and very angrily he punched Mikey, and Mikey fell. And another one of our loyal customers chased him down.
Oh, wow.
And confronted him and said, why did you do that? You need to go apologize. And apparently the man got kind of aggressive. So that customer came back and told me and said, you might want to call the police
Oh, wow.
because he might be coming back. And it made me very scared and nervous. So I pick up the phone right away and call the police department. And immediately I think, wait a minute, I'm about to say, a man just punched Michelangelo, my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
He assaulted
Mikey. And then now he's going to come back and confront me and the customers. Yeah. And that phone call, I'm sure every officer heard.
Is always expecting to have.
Man,
They did come out and they took it very seriously.
Oh, well, that's good.
They did.
And apparently it was on
The morning police briefing.
morning police briefing, the assault of Mikey.
Michelangelo.
And it's funny because the value kept going up of how much he was worth.
Okay.
And it went up to like 600 according to all the officers, but it's not at all. But I'm sure that was our introduction into the City of Manassas Police
So the
Department,
police
who
would stop by every
so
now and then check
great.
on the turtles.
They would check
How's
on
Mikey doing?
Do you have
Is he
all of
okay?
them?
So they only made Michelangelo and Leonardo
Okay.
for some reason. I don't know why they didn't do all four. And so I had those two, and then I found doubles.
Okay.
And I painted them, so they're all four of them now.
Oh, nice.
have all four.
Yeah, and everybody that sees them wants to buy them, and I'm like, no, but I'll.
It gets people to come into the store.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good for
But I
your
will absolutely customize them for people.
take
if
an
they want.
Instagram selfie with them or
Right.
something. you
Yeah,
know?
it's a great. Tons
do,
of people
right.
take pictures with them.
Yeah.
So it's great. Yeah.
So one of my Ninja Turtle stories is like we were allowed to play with the good ones,
Yeah.
like the actual turtles,
Yeah.
but we couldn't play with like Bebop and Rocksteady. So my friend brought them over, and I was just me and my friend, but my brother was there not playing with us, and he took Bebop and he ran outside the house, ran all the way outside. I was like 6 years old.
Yeah.
We ran downstairs to an unfinished basement, and I tripped on a rug and broke my nose. And it's still broken. So, yeah. So, shout out to Bebop for that one. I just wasn't allowed to play with them, you know? So,
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. My first concussion.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Wow.
Very
Wow.
good. So where do you guys like see the future of this going? Just kind of keep doing the same thing, or do you have like a vision for other stores, or what do you think? I mean, you're down in Stafford, so is there anything that like Fredericksburg area, or would that cannibalize your own?
No, that's far
yeah.
enough away that it wouldn't really. I don't think it would really affect what we have going on in Manassas. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we would love to expand at some point. We're still focused on making the Manassas store the best it can be.
Yeah.
And we're constantly updating it and changing things, and that's the primary focus right now.
Yeah.
And our online stuff, and now it'll be social media. So
Right.
we're going to really try to
Right.
pump out a lot of content.
It's a lot of hands-on work.
Mm-hmm.
So we, just being the three of us full time,
Right.
there's always just so much to do because usually, there's one of this, one of that, and you're taking pictures for the website.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing. We don't have multiple. So we're still learning how
Right.
to navigate that and how to speed up processes because there's no way to automate a lot of it.
Yeah, and it's tough to scale when you're getting occasional
Yeah.
toys and you don't know exactly how much stuff you're getting at a
Right.
particular time. And, what would the case be if, like, people stopped, like, trading in stuff? Or do you see that that's probably not going to happen?
No,
Or it just
I
keeps
think
going
it's
up?
Yeah, we don't.
We get.
Were you worried about that in
overwhelmed.
the beginning?
In the beginning, I don't think I thought about it as much. I didn't know how it was going to go. It was always part of the plan. But yeah, people constantly bring us things. I don't think
Constantly,
that's an issue.
Yeah, that's great.
And when we need something we're low on that we haven't had, Transformers come in a while. We all kind of joke about, okay, let's call to the universe. We need Transformers.
Yeah, okay, manifest that.
You know, we
Manifest
and
it.
then it seems to come in.
seems to
So
work.
Okay,
we
that's
seem
great.
to always get what we're missing or we need, and
That's
so
awesome.
There's always people who are moving or downsizing
Right.
or retiring, and they still have their kids' stuff they left from 30 years ago.
Right. So how do people find you? Is it like word of mouth or?
A lot of it is.
Okay.
a lot of it's word of mouth, online.
Yeah.
I
And
don't do a lot of advertising, and
Yeah.
being where you were talking about the location, that intersection of where we're located.
So many eyeballs.
Dude. And the two parking lots that we're surrounded by parking lots, which is priceless. But yeah, just the visual of used toys and collectibles sign that's there has been great. So
Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, Manassas Old Town there's some restaurants, but it was mostly like old lady stores.
I remember too.
You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's still a couple, but it was like, why would I go there?
Right.
You know,
Right. And that's what I was talking about, like new and exciting new stores that are coming down there and things that are opening. It's awesome. I saw that happen in Clarendon and Arlington for a long time.
Right.
What's happening now, though, it's, as Patty said earlier, it's a very village kind of vibe. Like, we all support each other. We try to help each other out. And we don't want to see it go corporate or anything like that. And there's a huge influx of young people moving into the area, which is awesome. Some great new restaurants have opened,
Yeah.
so that brings a lot.
Bloom is
delicious,
delicious.
so good.
Yeah, I'm a director for Old Town Strong. I don't know if you know what that is. So,
yeah, absolutely.
we do happy hours once a month to raise money for charities and stuff. So if you guys are around, I'll let you know when the next ones are.
We'd love to be involved.
I don't know if Cassidy's old enough to go to happy hour yet.
Oh, yeah.
She 21?
Oh yeah, she's.
Yeah.
She's.
I don't know if we should say her age.
She is. She's of age.
She's well over.
She's well
Okay. So how did you guys meet?
Oh,
Patty and myself? Oh, man.
yeah.
So I was a bartender, and this is actually a really interesting story. Because people ask us this every now and then. So it was 2000, year 2000.
Okay.
And
it was 2001.
Oh, it was. You're
Correction.
Right. I'm so sorry. Oh, God, I'm so old.
It was February.
It was February of 2001. You're right. And there was a big snowstorm. And I was bartending back then, and I had a Jeep Cherokee. So whenever it snowed in that area of Arlington, the restaurant got very busy because there were so many people that could walk to the bar.
Right.
And so when there was a snow day, even when
yeah,
you're in
the
your
best.
20s and
Day
30s,
drinking, yeah.
day drinking.
Yeah.
And so my boss called me and said, "Hey, look, we're getting really busy. I know you have, a vehicle that can travel in the snow. Can you come into work?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was going to Mason at the time, and Mason was closed for the day. So I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll come in." So I go to work, and I'm working in the back bar, and we were just packed. It's just busy, 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 busy. And she walks in with a couple coworkers. And, I know it's kind of cheesy to say love at first sight, man, but it really absolutely was. I was just completely steamrolled by her. And she sat down at the bar, and she was sitting with these two coworkers who I didn't know they were coworkers. I thought maybe, one of these is her husband or boyfriend or something. And I proceeded to feed her alcoholic drinks. The more you drink, the better I look.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we just kind of talked, and
We really, neither of us were supposed to be there. So
neither of us were supposed to
Right.
be
I
there.
had a corporate
Another-
job in Arlington, and with that snowstorm, there was a huge pile up on 95.
Okay.
Because I lived south, and so I was stuck, and so that's why I went out. Not typically going out to bars.
One of
wasn't
your
my
coworkers invited you to go
Yeah,
out to a bar.
yeah. So
And she wasn't supposed to be there, and I wasn't supposed to be there, so it's kind of like a clerk's
Another
moment. I'm not even supposed to
synchronicity
be
sort
here
of
today.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that was it, man. I even looked at the other person I was bartending with, and I said, "I'm going to marry that girl. I think
Nice.
I'm in love."
That's manifesting too, right?
Absolutely is, and here we are, happily.
That's awesome.
20 some years later.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
We've been married for 8 years now.
That's
a
awesome.
similar thing. We met just at a bar in Old Town, the Old City Tavern, when it used to be at the inn.
Yep.
And I was showing her my Dreaming of Eden business card that I had made, and she was like, "This logo's not very good." And of course, I had made it, and she was a graphic design major too. So I was like,
wow.
just something about. I was like, I like her though. I don't
Yeah,
like. She
yeah,
told me the
yeah.
truth. All these other people were like, yeah, great, trying to impress me or something. I don't know. But then I ran into her again a couple years later at Mad Rose in Arlington.
Yeah.
And I had just cut my hair from having it really long. And she was like, all right. Okay, we can do something with
There
this.
you go.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so we've been married
That's
for
great.
8 years now.
That's great.
So do you have like any advice for entrepreneurs of any sort? I mean, there's a lot of things I can imagine starting from, even just a business plan, but
Right.
like, day-to-day stuff or what to expect when you're starting as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, well, definitely planning ahead, trying to as best you can and just learn.
Yeah, research.
Yeah.
Lifelong learner. We're still learning, so that's key. And definitely work on your niche. That's what I learned early
Right.
on. Like you have to have a very specific niche that stands out from other businesses. What's your
Right.
what do people come to you for? Why do they come to you over other businesses?
Right.
So always try to push that and yeah. Do you
No,
have
it's
any?
really. I think that's the most important point. Is there's always going to be other businesses that kind of do somewhat the similar thing that you do.
Right.
Find your angle, find your niche, and find how you can drive those people to your store and your business and make them repeat customers.
Right.
And that's one thing I think we're very proud of is that our repeat customer rate is through the roof. And a lot of the times, Mike, people come in just to hang out and talk. They don't even
Yeah.
buy anything. They just just
Well,
want to
that's
come hang
fun.
out and chill. Yeah, it's like a bar in that regard where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, here's
Right.
my regular. He's in here, and he's going to hang out for a couple hours and chat, and we love it.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
great because everybody that comes in there really is just a great person. So
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good advice.
a lot of fun.
I mean, for me, it's like also just don't give up. A
I
big
think that's
thing.
a big.
That's
Like
yeah.
times are rough going through COVID. Like you guys said, it was better during COVID, or like
Well,
No,
we
no.
we didn't know COVID was going to happen. We
Yeah.
opened in December of 2019.
oof.
Yeah. Closed in March
And then-
of 2020.
So it was all new territory because
Yeah.
we had just opened.
Yeah.
So you just roll with it and you figure it out as you go in a situation like
Well, that's
that.
about as hard as it can get.
Pretty much.
I mean, honestly,
yeah.
like an apocalypse sort of situation where you can't open your doors and people can't come in. If you can survive that, I mean, you can definitely survive
And especially the fact
Right.
a
that
standard economy.
absolutely, and Kerbobble is a place that we say you have to come and experience it. It's
Yeah.
a place for you to come into and experience a store. Yeah, buy stuff online, great, whatever.
Right.
You have to come into the shop. It's so unique in the experience, and everybody that comes in just goes, I tell the story all this time. This one lady came in one time, and she comes like storming in, and she goes, I'm in my happy place. And I was like, oh, having a rough day. And she's like, when I'm having a rough day, I just come and hang out here because I love the vibe, the music, and the lights, and
Nice.
everything to look at. And that was validation, man.
So if you want to show some of those other cool toys that you have.
Alrighty, well, let's see. Well, these were just some Nintendo games that I brought. that
Okay.
were-
Oh, Batman. I remember that.
So I'm a huge '89 Batman fan.
Okay.
Michael Keaton is Batman to me.
That's my favorite. My
Hands
wife's
down.
favorite too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the animated series, I don't know if you ever watched that, but that's what I'm obsessed with. That's what I collect, man.
Okay.
Then there's the Teenage
That
Mutant
was
Ninja
so hard.
So hard.
So hard.
So unbelievably hard. But they were like the most popular IP at that point.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
wanted to play Turtles. And then Double Dragons.
Yeah.
Which obviously, I mean, the Double Dragon games to me were just,
Yeah.
Oh, this one I have to talk about a little bit.
What is that?
So let me just take.
Is it 007 or something?
So this is a game called Golgo 13.
Okay.
I don't know. Can you see
Move
it?
back a little bit there.
This way.
Yep.
And this was not a very well-known game. It was originally a manga from Japan, and then an anime, and then I don't even remember why I got this game, but I became obsessed with it.
Really?
And it was really hard. I actually never beat it to this day. Still, I haven't beaten it. But this was one of those games that it's just so nostalgic for me.
Really? Was it just like a cheaper game at the time, and that's why?
Yeah, maybe it just wasn't really well known. So probably, yeah, maybe it didn't sell well. I know that it just wasn't one of those big hits in the U.S.
Right.
Like a lot of the other titles were. But you're an assassin, and his name is Duke Togo, and it takes them to before the Berlin Wall's down. So you're in like East Germany and then West Germany and stuff like that. And it's a really interesting and unique game, and it's a lot of fun. So whenever I see this in a store, I get really excited about it. And actually, Deanna, who works with us for Christmas, she got me Golgo 13 in the box with the manual and everything. So I you talk about a giddy moment, man. Yeah, I was very moved by that. That was awesome.
I used to play like off-road, and off-road is fun. Excite Bike.
Excite Bike is amazingly.
Do you have like a system and like at the place that people can come in, like just kind of play when they browsing around or test out a game?
I do have a whole testing center. So like when people bring in any kind of electronics or video game stuff, I have almost one of every console so I can test stuff. At the store isn't really set up or big enough to really have people kind of a station or an area set up for gaming necessarily. So at some point I'd love to figure that out. That'd be great. I would really like to get some arcade machines in there because that's just, I mean, those are awesome. They look
cool.
the
pinball machines that are showing up around town.
So good.
Yeah.
And I saw that Blaine put some at the Sinstrel, so it's so good.
There's some there and some at Heritage Brewing too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's a nice little something nostalgic, you know. They're all old ones too.
When I was in the restaurant industry, we brought a couple pinball games into our like pool game room area, and they killed it, man. One of them was an Aerosmith game that I became obsessed with, and so we were playing it all the time. I don't remember what the other one was, but yeah, pinball did really, really well.
Yeah,
I mean, it's fun.
Anyone can play it.
Anybody can play it.
Yeah,
and you don't have to be good. I mean, I don't even know how to play it, and I had fun doing it, you know. So then these are, again, for the big collectors and kind of the original, some of the original Star Wars figures.
Scoot it back a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Is that Luke?
So that's Farm Boy Luke.
Okay.
You have Obi-Wan. You have Big Head, Han Solo. So there's two versions of Han Solo.
Okay.
The bigger head's the more rare. It's just, I mean, the size of his head.
That's the small head one?
That's the small head one. Actually, I think that's from a much later line because of see how his arm is.
Yeah.
It's just, I think his pants are different. But then they shrunk the head later, not too far along after.
Save money on plastic.
Sure. And to make it look a little bit more
Yoda.
organized. So there's a complete Yoda, which is kind of rare to find, every now and then. And then two of my absolute favorites.
Nice.
I mean, can't go wrong with Darth Vader.
My brother has a Sugar Skull Darth Vader tattoo.
Sweet.
He's a huge. So once he got that, everyone started just buying him Darth Vader stuff for Christmas. Like,
awesome.
What do you get a guy in his 40s anyway, right? Just
Yeah.
get him old toys or stuff.
And then Boba Fett.
Nice.
Which, again, so I tend to really...
Those are in great condition.
They are. They're absolutely amazing condition. If I got them graded, they'd be really high. But I don't want to grade them. They look great.
What can that sell for?
Well, so like big head Han Solo can go anywhere from like 40 to 60-ish kind of dollars, depending on condition and completion, right?
Right.
So back in the 80s, all the accessories were so little that, look how small this gun is. I mean, I don't know. Can you even see that?
Yeah, that's a choking hazard.
And we all had shag carpets, and we all had vacuum cleaners that you didn't empty because they had those bags, remember? So a lot of the accessories are the most kind of valuable part of those figures. And so Han Solo, like around 70. Boba Fett complete, like he is here in good condition. This could be anywhere from $60 to $100. Darth Vader's going to get you a little bit more, especially if they're carded. If they're on their original cards, I mean, you're talking $1,000 for Darth Vader in a good condition.
That's crazy.
But these are just some of the figures that I literally remember going to the store and picking out and buying and being so excited and having battles with. But like I said, I tend to gravitate towards villains in movies and stories and games and stuff. I find them more interesting. The backstories are usually more interesting. The character designs are usually more interesting, etc. And so I'm a big dark side fan of Star Wars.
How do you like the newer Star Wars stuff?
Well, The Mandalorian was awesome.
Mandalorian's a
that's
show.
good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've watched Skeleton Crew. Anybody that hasn't watched Skeleton Crew, if you like Goonies and you like Star Wars, it's literally Goonies and Star
Okay.
Wars mashed up. It's amazing. And Goonies is like one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
That might be my next tattoo, actually.
The Goonies?
Yeah. Goonies never say die.
Do that and the Contra thing at the same time.
Yeah, you can have to do a whole,
Work them in together.
whole kind of nostalgia 80s
Yeah,
sleeve.
right?
Yeah. So, yeah, those are just, these are things to me that were super important, as were a lot of other things that, like Turtles came out kind of when I was on that line of not really buying toys or playing with toys anymore. So G.I. Joe and Star Wars were really just kind of it for me. And then Nintendo, and then gaming just took over. And then I found a guitar, and that was just that.
Yeah.
That changed everything.
Guitars and chicks.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. Hey, watch me play this. So, yeah. But
Yeah, well, I mean, so my journey with music was, I was like, my dad made me do something in high school. So I started 2 years of football, and I was 135. So I got destroyed, and we only had a varsity team, so
wow.
I really got destroyed. Second concussion, by the way, I'm pretty sure was
my gosh.
I was going up against a guy that was like 250 pounds, and I just woke up on the ground. So still had to do practice, but not these days. That would be very different. And then I went into track because he wanted me to do something, and then I found out I could sing a little bit when I was going to church and everything, and I was like, I'm just doing this. I'm better at it. I'm never going to be a professional athlete. I just knew that. And so once I found out I could sing just a little bit, I was like, this gave me the courage. And then I got the guitar, and then, it was kind of off to the races of
Awesome.
finding something you can actually do. I was telling someone the other day, I think if I never would have learned guitar, I don't think I'd have a business now.
Interesting.
Why do you think that?
It taught me that I can just apply myself and I can do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great.
If you work hard enough at something, I'm not going to be able to dunk a basketball unless it's an 8-foot rim. But I can't. Most things, if you apply yourself enough, you'll be able to do it.
Absolutely agree.
And you guys are a testament to that as well. Actually working hard and building a business. It's great. So wrapping it up, how can people find you? What's the best way? And once you start a YouTube. Or do you already have one?
We do have one.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Yes. So
Spit 'em out.
our website is kerbobblettoys.com.
Easy, not taken, which is great. That's a fake word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. We have, a lot of products on the website, but not everything.
Yeah.
So definitely way more in the store, but we are constantly adding to the website.
Right.
And our YouTube, every social media pretty much is Kerbobble Toys. That's
great.
You can easily find us online.
That's awesome.
I just have to tell a real quick short story.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, Matt Davis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Matt Davis and I go way back, obviously, to the music days, and he's just a great guy. I love Matt. But after we had opened the store, I get this random text one day from Matt, and it's just this clip of the live action Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
Okay.
And it's a clip of, what was the little girl's name? Peggy Sue or something.
Oh.
Right, yeah.
Whatever her
Yeah.
name was, I don't remember.
Cindy Lou Who?
Cindy Lou
Cindy
Who, that's
Lou
it.
Who.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
just
you.
came right off the
Okay,
back of my
Yes.
head. I haven't thought
Brilliant.
about that in years.
I'm not a fan of the Grinch story and all that. I just find it a little weird. But anyways, he sent me this clip of her saying in the movie, blah, 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 what a kerbobble.
Oh, so they might have.
And I was like,
the zeitgeist.
What? So I looked it up on Urban Dictionary. And
Okay.
actually, for a urban slang kind of word, it means organized chaos.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, whoa, that kind of fits perfectly with
Yeah.
us. I mean, our store's not chaotic,
Right.
There's
very
a lot of
organized,
stuff.
but there's a lot of
There's
things.
a lot of
Right. It's not like you're just making cheeseburgers every
Right.
day. It's a very unique
Yeah,
type
exactly.
of niche
Right.
to be into. So,
So thanks to Matt, that was brought to my attention, and so when people still say, "Is it a real world?" Urban Dictionary says it is, but from my understanding, no, it's
yeah,
not.
that's awesome. That's a good story.
It's great. I love it.
Well, thank you guys for joining me today. We'll talk to you
you.
soon.
Thanks, Mike, for having
Thanks.
us. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.